Well, this week, Canada is set to see its largest shipment of COVID-19 vaccines since the start of the pandemic. With more, I want to bring in Cole Pinnow. He's the president of Pfizer Canada. Cole, good morning. Welcome to our program.
Hi, Marcia. Thanks for having me.
So Canadians are looking south, and they're seeing millions of Americans get vaccinated every day. Britain has fumbled the ball through most of the pandemic, but they have scored a touchdown with their vaccine rollout. They're now the world leader. Where did Canada go wrong?
Well, Marcia, I think it's important to remember where we were back in August when we entered into our contract with the government of Canada to supply vaccines. Both the government and Pfizer anticipated that we wouldn't be receiving approval, or a decision, I should say, from Health Canada until the middle of the first quarter. If you look at Australia, for example, which followed a normal review cycle for the application for our vaccine, they just received a positive opinion about 2 weeks ago. So that was the timeline we were operating with. But then in September, Health Canada implemented a rolling submission that allowed for emergency authorization of the vaccine. And that allowed us to pull forward the launch to December. So since November, we've been scrambling to try and accelerate deliveries.
Well, why was Canada so deeply impacted by the production disruption?
So a lot of countries have been disrupted by the purposeful changes we made at our Belgium manufacturing facility to upgrade the capacity of the facility and allow us to go from 1.3 billion doses up to 2 billion doses. So it's not just Canada, it's many countries that have been impacted.
But it seems like we're further down the list, Cole.
We are actually doing quite well. When you look at over 50 countries that Pfizer is contracted with, Canada is doing exceptionally well on deliveries. But what we're trying to manage is a global supply chain to meet our obligations to all 50 countries. And we are confident that we're going to be able to meet our end of March commitment for 4 million doses. And we've pulled forward 9 million doses that were scheduled to come between April and the end of the year. We're now going to deliver all 40 million doses by the end of September. So pulling forward 9 million doses, some from fourth quarter to third quarter and others from third quarter to second quarter, is really going to allow us to accelerate getting every Canadian an opportunity to receive a vaccination.
Should we have acted sooner and ramped up domestic production, made that capable here in this country?
I think it's important to note that there's many different parts that go into manufacturing a vaccine, especially one as innovative and technically complex as an mRNA vaccine. And it's difficult to say that if we had the ability to do fill finish here, that there wouldn't be a bottleneck in the process as part of this nationalism concern that we see running across the globe right now. So it's important to note that regardless of who's making which part of any given product, that there is a global supply chain. And it's really in all of our best interests to support open borders and open trade.
Okay, let's talk about the vaccine itself then. How effective is it against the variants? How adaptable is it against the variants?
So we have tested Pfizer's vaccine against 19 different variations of the COVID-19 virus. And so far, we're extremely optimistic about how our in vitro testing has shown resilience to possible variants that could emerge. We've published our results for both the UK and South African variants to show that in vitro, or in the laboratory, the serum used from patients that underwent the clinical trials for our vaccine showed a positive reaction against these variants. So we're going to continue to publish results as they become available. If you want to see real world data, we point to Israel, where we have a partnership in place with that country to study real world evidence on how our vaccine performs. Right now, the UK variant is roughly 80% of the known variants in Israel. And our vaccine has shown to be 94% effective at preventing serious complications from the COVID infection.
So in other words, people should feel confident?
Absolutely. Right now, we feel confident that the vaccine that's in place against both the UK and South African variants will provide protection.
So Canadians, I don't even need to tell you, are waiting for these vaccines to come. And back to your point about vaccine nationalism, do you see a point where Canada could turn to Michigan, where there is a Pfizer production facility, and say, hey, can you send us some vaccine here? We need it.
Right now, we're confident we can deliver on our commitments to Canada from the PERS Belgium facility, and we built our supply chain and manufacturing plan assuming that we're going to receive all of that vaccine commitment through the first half of this year from there. We'll reevaluate when we get to mid-year about where best to source the vaccine that Pfizer's committed to.
But that's a possibility?
It is a possibility in the second half of the year, but we're exploring that option.
All right. Cole Pinnow, thank you so much. Cole's the president of Pfizer Canada. Appreciate your time with us this morning.
Thank you, Marcia.